I think it's a pleasure always to address an institution or a school at this level. So welcome everyone to this webinar, and this is done in association with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So I am Ryan Fernandez. Of course, I'm from a corporate background. I head the strategic investments function at Pidilite Industries. By qualification, I'm a chartered accountant, a company secretary, an LLB, and a CFA from USA. So I'll be addressing you today, on the benefits of a CA course, and what really value does it bring to you in terms of doing this course. Okay, so just a brief overview. I'll quickly take you through that, I think, and then we'll leave some 5 to 10 minutes for a few of your queries and questions that we can take. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. Yeah. So just to give you a brief overview of what the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is. So it's a statutory body established by an act of the Indian Parliament. So it's a properly governed institute with around 70 years in existence, right from 1940s. We have a wonderful infrastructure in terms of the human resources that we have, 1,000+ people, 160+ branches. We have branches in some of the most smallest cities as well, which allows us to reach out to students even in the smallest of cities. We have 34 foreign chapters. The branch of our own buildings is around 99 buildings that we have. We have around 91 auditoriums, and if you go to some of the auditoriums in Mumbai, especially the one at BKC or the one at Cuff Parade, you'll understand it's a masterpiece by itself. And of course, the information technology centers are another asset that we do have. Yeah. So in terms of the ICAI was established in 1949. The strength of the CA fraternity stands over 3 lakh members as on date. So it's a huge institute with a lot of number of people that have cleared over the years and been professionals. It is the second largest accounting body in the world when it comes to the size and professionalism. So the ICAI will be also hosting a 21st World Congress of Accountants in 2022. Which we'll be teaming up with them. The institute has partnered with Niti Aayog for launching women entrepreneurship platforms. The ICA has also partnered with the Indian government, as a drive against black money. We also organize campus placement. So one of the best benefits of the CA course is it does not only provide you an education based platform, but also kind of gives you a mechanism to get a job. And that's something which is very important in today's times. You see a lot of people do the courses but are not able to kind of get jobs even after that. And trust me, I think a CA course by itself also it's got a very heavy weight in terms of you getting a job. So when you go and approach any company, and I there are hardly any CAs whom I know who are unemployed, and even if they are, it is for a very temporary period. If you go to see, there is a career ascent program. So by the career placement programs is for somebody who just passes out after the exams. So there are 3 levels of the exam, which I will be covering in the later slides. But after you cover the last slide, there is a career placement program also that we organize, where you have some of the big weights like the Deloittes and the Pidilite also used to come in some of the past years. There's a career ascent program. So this is more for experienced chartered accountants who have kind of done around 3 to 4 years to 5 years of experience. There is the startup summit that we had organized. So somebody who's done a CA course and post that want to actually start their own startup. This is something which is a good platform for them to kind of put that together. Of course, in terms of fee waivers and redemptions, I think if you see, there are around 75% of the fee waivers for students registered from the Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, and 8 northeastern states. So there's also a fee waiver clause where you can opt for it. Of course, it wouldn't be applicable to us, but for some of your friends who are going to migrate somewhere there, or you have some friends out there, this can always be a helpful way for somebody who cannot afford the course. Okay. So implementation, it's under a seal of authentication. UDIN is now registered trademark of ICAI, and appreciating UDIN, SAFA has formed task force to implement UDIN and SAFA member bodies. Okay. So quickly, I'll just what is a CA course? Okay. In terms of the CA, okay, he always acts as a bridge between the government and the public. Okay. So whenever you look at any of the institutes that are there, okay, it's important that the institute places across the right views to the public in terms of what needs to be done. Okay. So the CA Institute over the years has placed numerous representations in front of the government, and which have been established and accepted by the government on numerous occasions. So some of the notifications that have come out, the CA Institute has played a vital role in placing these representations between the government. Now, what exactly is a CA? Okay, so somebody says that if you dream to be a CA, you will always achieve it. Okay, and that's really where it starts from. Okay, so dream CA, believe CA, and if you achieve CA, this is the benefits that you will get out of it. Okay, so first of all, I think let me cover what exactly are the benefits. Okay, in terms of economic well-being. Okay, today when you look at a chartered accountant, the start pay for any chartered accountant is not less than 6 to 7 lakhs per annum. Okay, and that is the bare minimum which I'm actually quoting on this entire platform. If you go to see, there are people who are earning much more than that, and which definitely gives you an idea of how well reputed the course is. There are a lot of international exposures which you get. So a lot of companies prefer chartered accountants from India, where they depute them to certain other locations to head some of their other subsidiaries in various locations. Pidlite, for example, is also a company who sells the Fevicol brand. We also have a lot of exposure. When we used to take a lot of students from the institute, and there were a lot of students who were deputed in Dubai branches, in your East African countries, to get a good exposure. So in terms of international exposure, it also is a well recognized qualification abroad as well. There are attractive career options. So I will cover that in the later slides when you look at it. It's not only in terms of you getting a job. Okay, you can start your own practice as a chartered accountant. Today the weight of a CA in terms of signing is phenomenal. I mean, you need a chartered accountant to probably finalize your balance sheet, finalize your profit and loss account. So those are options which the CA can. So not only looking at, and even in a job, you have the option of probably going to a CA firm, or working in a corporate. You have a lot of banks and financial institutions prefer a chartered accountant degree, and that's where it opens up numerous options. Okay, and if you're not done there, there is also many options in terms of entrepreneurs. Okay, I know a lot of people who have in the past become entrepreneurs even after doing a CA degree. So they've started their own business because the CA course has helped them in terms of understanding the business better. Okay, there's a reputation to the entire course. I mean, when you look at a chartered accountant, you can make out one. In terms of the status that the society gives you when you are a chartered accountant, it is really immense, I think, and that is something which most of the other qualifications wouldn't bring to you the way the chartered accountant course brings to you. It brings a phenomenal social stature. So when you today, if somebody's parents say my children are CAs, okay, it's a proud moment for the parents. It's a proud moment for the society, to have a chartered accountant around, and that's well, while you believe a doctor and an engineer is the best course in the science field. the CA course is the best course in the commerce field. So after 10th, you will need to choose your stream in terms of whether you want to go into commerce or science. And, if you're definitely going into commerce, I would definitely suggest that you take up the CA course. Okay. Coming to how is the course panned out. Okay. Now there are two ways of basically how you can become a CA, and we all like shortcuts. So let me cover the shorter route first. Okay. So there is an entry mode which is called a direct entry mode, and there's a foundation route. Okay. There are basically three levels of any CA exam. Okay. One being the foundation level, the second being your intermediate level, and the third being the final level. Okay. And in the middle of this, you will need to do a little bit of a training. Okay. Which will practically equip you to kind of play a role in future career modes that you do. Okay, so the direct entry mode is a more simpler mode in terms of you don't need to go through one of the levels, but it also starts off a little later. Okay, so the criteria there, okay, is any student who has done, let's say for example, a lot of people do a company secretary course before and a cost accountant course before. Okay, so the Institute of Chartered Accountants provides you an exemption. If you are a intermediate student from the cost accountants or a company secretary course, and that's where they permit you to directly give the second level and not the first level. So first level is basically the foundation level. So if let's say for example, if you've not done a cost accountant course prior to you doing a CA course, and you're just a commerce graduate, okay, in terms of that. So if you're a commerce graduate or a postgraduate and you've secured 55% in your graduation or your post graduation, then in that case you can directly again enter into the direct entry mode after your graduation. Okay, let's say for example, if you're not from the commerce stream, okay, we have a lot of people in the institute who have switched over from a science or an arts background to a commerce field. Okay, the institute has also provided an exemption for such students. So let's say, for example, if some student was actually planning to do a medical course, okay, and midway he realizes that no, I think it is better to do a commerce course. That is more lucrative in terms of the opportunities that it brings you. Then in that case, for other graduates or postgraduates, 60% cutoff would get you straight into the intermediate level. Okay. Once you do that, there is an intermediate course which you need to pass and undergo a 4 weeks of ICTIS. Okay, so this is basically a computer-based exam, which is a very quick exam where you need to just prepare for this, and that will get you through the second level of the CA course. Okay, once you do that, you need to kind of quickly get into a practical training. Here also, in terms of practical training, the institute gives you various options. Okay, so when you look at a CA, doing an internship in any of the institutes, okay, there are various options. A lot of people want to join the firm and look at. So today, when you look at the firms that are the big firms in the chartered accountancy course, you will find Deloitte, PwC, Ernst and Young, which are 3-4 of the big units, which take a lot of inflow of CAs and they require. So it's basically a chartered accountant firm, which is a global firm. Okay, and they have a lot of requirements for chartered accountants the world over. Okay, so the institute gives you an option to do a practical training for the next 3 years. Okay, so that's a prerequisite to you kind of getting your chartered accountant qualification, and in that also you are allowed to do 2 years from a CA firm and 1 year from the industry if you wish to. Okay, if you wish to even continue as 3 years in a chartered accountant firm and not do an industrial training, that's also fine. So the industrial training is basically working in a company, maybe a corporate or maybe a bank or a financial institution, that gives you. So somebody, if they want to actually move into the financial institution line, or somebody, they want to work into a corporate. For these kind of people, it's very important to get an exposure, and that 1 year, acts as a stepping stone for you getting into, the further moves in your career. So this was the direct entry route. I mean, I will take off, of course, questions after this on, the entire course. So there is also a foundation route. Okay, so this is more a 3-step level. There it's a 2-step level. So here you basically register with ICA after appearing for your 12th class exam by June 30th or by 31st December. You're eligible to appear in the November or May after that class 12 exams. Okay, you then qualify your foundation exam. Okay, which is a relatively logical exam in terms of, if you put your mind to it, you're definitely going to clear it. Then there is an intermediate course, which again stands at the same line as your direct entry route. So if you look at, where the direct entry route was, you were having an entry, is at the intermediate level. So you're at the intermediate level, then you complete again your 4 weeks of ICTISS course. And then after appearing and passing either both or, one group, you can then register for 3 years practical training. So this is where the course, at both the routes remains the same. You register for the CA final course after passing both the groups of intermediate, and then you complete another 4 weeks of advanced ICTS. Okay, so this is where the second level comes in, where you kind of appear for the advanced ICTS. Then post that, you complete your practical training of 3 years, which you were started off, and then you qualify your CA final exam, and yes, you're a CA. So that's 3 steps where you will, it's like a 3-step to fame, or a 3-step to kind of reputation and fame. That's what we say. Okay, now in terms of how much does it cost for you to become a CA? And of course, all of us are cost conscious, right? So in terms of the fee structure, it's let me tell you, it's a very affordable cost. Okay, in terms of and I will tell you why. And I'm mentioning the word affordable, even though the total down you see is 77,000. Okay, so there is a certain cost of prospectus registration fees that we have. Okay, apart from that, there is also some student activities fees. There is some course on information technology that you need to do. Remember the ICTIS that I mentioned. So all those put together, totals up to a 77,200 over the remaining 3 years. Okay. Now, when you compare this to any other course, in the commerce field, so let's say when you compare this to an MBA, okay, today, when you do an MBA from any other institute, let's say, for example, a Jamnalal Bajaj, okay, the fees there are not less than 5 to 10 lakhs, depending on the stream that you opt for. Okay. In terms of that, when you compare a 10 lakhs versus a 77,200, it is an absolute minuscule cost. Okay, and when you compare the starts, fees, or the start remuneration that you would earn, okay, post earning the degree, it is a very good cost to benefit ratio. Okay, now this I think you can read this line down there, which says minimum stipend paid is 92,000. Okay, so I will come to that slide. I think it's in the next 2 slides. But let me first explain to you in terms of the cost. Okay, so the MBA cost is not less than 5 to 10 lakhs from a Jamnalal Bajaj Institute. Okay, and the start pay, when you look at it, is higher for a CA in terms of the remuneration or the packages that you get. So that's why when you put in 77,200 and you start off with at the a higher level, or even let's say, for example, somebody has to work in a remote location and gets a real nominal fee, it would still be higher than a person doing an MBA from a C tier or a B tier institute. Okay, in terms of when you need to become a CA, well, these are the 3 mantras of becoming a CA. Okay, and of course, one is hard work, one is dedication, and the chartered accountant's course definitely prompts you to put in the most hard work and dedication that you need to. Okay, so let me tell you that it is definitely a difficult course, but not an impossible course. Okay, and the reason, I mean, there's a reason why the course is difficult. Okay, because if anything was very simple, you would have lakhs of students doing this course. Okay, I think a lot of you people would have your friends, relatives who are doing an engineering course. Okay, today you have lakhs of people, passing out as engineers, as BCom graduates. Okay, how do you stand out in such a crowd, and how do you stand a chance to get a job when you're one of the lakhs? Okay, and that is where the CA course gives you an upper edge in terms of getting qualification, or getting a job, or getting a reputation in society. So all that you need to do is put in a little hard work. Okay, everyone has done it in terms of whoever has reached the stage, and you will realize that at the end of the day, it was all worth it. Okay, coming to opportunities, as I had mentioned in the past. Okay, there are various opportunities. One being you can start your own practice. So a lot of firms, right from the most smallest of firms, let's say for example, even a small kirana shop, to a jewelry store, to a big business like Reliance, to, let's say, to a big business like the Huntsman Group. These kind of companies are huge companies in terms of and they always require a certification. They require you to sign off your balance sheet, your profit and loss account, and that is where your own practice can give you a big benefit. You can also join a job or an employment. As I mentioned before, you can pick between a CA firm and a company or a financial institution or an NGO. There are many numerous options when you're a CA, and that's how the stamp of CA can actually get you ahead. You can also start an entrepreneurship or a business. Okay, in terms of I have a lot of friends who have started off very lucrative businesses. Even though they've done a CA course, they've gone on to start off a financial advisory, or they've gone on to start off a mutual fund advisory. These kind of things are something which goes well in hand with a CA course, and you being a CA also gives you that added benefit, and that added platform to understand the financials well. The institute has also tied up, with a lot of uh, institutes. Not only, recently there was a CPA Australia, okay, which is the chartered accountant in Australia. They have recently done a tie-up with them where you kind of, join the course, and you get an exemption in the CPA Australia as well. So that is something where, of course, meeting certain criteria is important, and there would be certain papers that you would need to come across. So apart from this, I think the institute also provides you a great platform for entering into civil services. Okay, so UPSC, which is called the Union Public Services Exam. Okay, is a course where somebody wants to be an active part or play an active role in the government affairs. Today you have the Indian Revenue Services, you have the Indian Foreign Services, you have the Indian Administrative Services. So a lot of these people who are in the Mantralaya, who are in the affairs of the government, in terms of the finance minister, in terms of the Union Railways ministers and all these kind of people, a lot of these people have come through the UPSC course, and it's preliminary required for them to kind of pass this exam to kind of go ahead. So in terms of that, there is also a tie-up which the institute has done with the UPSC board, to kind of provide you a great platform to enter that course as well. So I am not sure whether all of you all are aware of this, but as a general knowledge, everyone should be aware. So Piyush Goyal, okay, who's currently the Honorable Minister for the Railways and has also been given an additional charge for the Ministry of Finance, is a chartered accountant. Okay, so while presenting the interim budget of 2021, he made a very poised statement. We are poised to become a $5 trillion economy in the next 5 years and aspire to become a $10 trillion economy in the next 8 years. Thereby, multiplying the role of chartered accountants is only going to get more important from here on, and there could be a dearth of about 25,000 professionals in the market in the future. Okay, and that brings you to a very important point. A demand and supply rule. If somebody of you are very well acquainted to an economics, the less the supply, the more the bargaining power that a person has. So in terms of that, if the inflow of chartered accountants currently is less, you would be willing to pay a higher salary to those kind of chartered accountants. And also from the perspective of people actually wanting to join the course, 25,000 CAs is something which would be covered over the next 3 to 4 years. Okay, so in terms of that, I think when you look at the value and the demand for a CA, this statement is very self-explanatory. Now, coming back to the various avenues in which a CA can serve. Okay, he can be an entrepreneur, as I said before. He can also play a very active role in the commerce. Okay, the information technology consulting. Okay, I have a lot of acquaintances who have actually, after doing a CA, played an active role in the implementation of SAP accounting package. Okay, so SAP is basically the accounting package which most of the big companies use. Like you have a Microsoft software. There is a SAP package, there is a Tally package, and a lot of chartered accountants are required in terms of explaining the nuances of financials in the information technology side. Okay, that's where the CA can also play an very nice role. Then coming to advisory services, so a chartered accountant can also play a very good role in terms of advising their clients on where to invest, what to invest, how to save tax, what measures should be taken, how to keep your books of accounts. So these are kind of advisory services where CAs can really add value to the entire society. There is advanced finance and economics. So in terms of, like I mentioned before, there are a lot of economists in the world, who do a lot of these swapping and swapping of the various metrics that they have. So the CAs can also provide a very good insight on, some of the economic metrics. There's a management consultancy services. So a lot of management information systems are developed. Okay, but the CA, has to definitely play a very good role in terms of building up that entire consultancy services. Okay, when you look at a company, okay, today when a director or a management has to be given a report, okay, that's when the chartered accountant puts together a very good summary of what the financial health of the company is. And that's where the CA plays a very important role in terms of advising the management to take the right decisions in terms of the financial health. Okay, you can also play a very good role in the business. Like I said, you becoming an entrepreneur. The government, as I told you before, the UPSC, which is a platform where you can enter through the CA course, and which provides you a bridge. And let me tell you, a lot of people today in the income tax office, okay, are chartered accountants, and then they have done an IRS. Okay, and when I kind of interacted with them and when I met them, they were witness to the fact that the chartered accountancy course has always built their base in terms of understanding the finance of various aspects. So that is something which explains by itself why you need to do a chartered accountancy course. Okay, and then there's an academics role also which people play a lot. Okay, a lot of classes, a lot of institutes require chartered accountants to kind of train and teach. So somebody, if they have a flair for teaching, or if they have a good sense of how to kind of train students, how to kind of teach students, it makes sense for them to kind of play the academic role in the society. Okay. Now, in terms of, I mentioned this before, and I will come to it in the other slides, is what I said. The stipend. Okay, so and this is where the CA course is another added advantage. It's not only you spend, but you also earn while you learn. Okay, and that's why the heading of the slide is earn while you learn. We have determined a minimum stipend, and let me make this very clear: this is the minimum stipend, and most of the organizations, the firms, the companies provide much higher, stipend than this. Okay, so today, if I were to look at, a big four, which I mentioned before, is the PwC, your Ernst and Young, these kind of companies, they provide easily above 20 to 25,000 as a stipend, which is a monthly stipend. Okay, and this is the minimum prescribed just to ensure that nobody is exploited. So in this case, if you're and we would belong to the first category, which is above 20 lakhs, the minimum stipend prescribed is 2,000 per month. Okay, and even a smallest firm pays today more than 4,000 per month. Okay, and that easily takes care of your pocket money today. The second year is prescribed as 2,500 and third year is prescribed as 3,000. Now when you add this up and multiply this by 12, I'm assuming everyone's good in maths, it comes to a total stipend and a total minimum stipend, let me again emphasize on that, of 90,000 versus a 77,000 which I had mentioned before as an investment. Okay, so that's where when you calculate the rate of return or the rate of or you do a cost benefit analysis, that's where the CA course stands out. You're putting in 77,200 and you're getting a minimum stipend of 92,000. And let me tell you, in most cases, this minimum is not even close to that. So I think a lot of people get paid much higher than a 92,000. Okay. Now, in terms of we have a lot of virtual classes also in this current pandemic time. It's very essential to have that facility. There's an e-learning, there's the cloud campus facilities. Then there are various publications which the ICA has launched in terms of what is the role and the objective of a CA. How do you become a CA? There are various publications on what makes a CA different course, on the campus placements. The institute has also launched a very good talent search contest. Okay, so if somebody who's interested in testing their ability of understanding, and let me tell you, the CA course is a very conceptual course. Okay, it's not a course which requires you to kind of mug and go and write. Okay, you need to have conceptual clarity when you're attempting this course. Okay, and that's what makes the course more interesting. So this is something for students of 9th, 10th, and 11th and 12th standard, and of course the BCom as well, where you can participate in this Commerce Wizard course. Okay, if somebody wants to do that, the link is www.icaicommercewizard.org. Okay, and there are very good prizes if you kind of ace this course. So you guys can go ahead and try this. So if somebody wants to actually go and participate in this, they can always do that. So the first prize, of course, for this is a whooping 1 lakh. Second prize is 50,000. Third prize is 25,000. And there are also top 200 consolation prizes for somebody who has participated and done well in the wizard. Okay, so in terms of that, this wizard is held from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and this will be declared, of course. It's usually held. Level 1 is held in December, January, on a Sunday, and the level 2 in the designated center is held again on a Sunday. Okay. So if you need further details, you can obviously reach out to this link which I mentioned before. I'll repeat it again: www.icicommercewizard.org. So in terms of somebody who cannot afford, now while the cost is quite affordable in terms of the fee structure, but if somebody who cannot afford the course, we do have a scholarship scheme, which is one is directly for the military personnel, the Indian Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the paramilitary forces, and they get a good scholarship over the entire thing. So we have around 75 scholarships which we give out year on year, and this special scheme is effective from 2018 to 2022. So the scholarship award is around 50% of the CA course fee, which will be adjusted at the time of registration. Okay, the 75 scholarships, the 50 scholarships will be awarded to awards of military and paramilitary personnel, and 25 are awarded to the railway. Okay, the scholarship is admissible only for one child per family. It's also only for students who wish to pursue the CA course in future and will be shortlisted on the basis of merit. So everything is based on merit, and there is nothing, and even if the person is married at that point in time, he would still be applicable for the scholarship scheme. Okay. Now, campus placements, as I mentioned before, we not only provide you a platform to learn, but we also provide you a platform to earn. Okay, and that's where the entire course, stands out in terms of providing job opportunities. So some of the big names that we have that come to the institute are PricewaterhouseCoopers, as I mentioned before, commonly known as PwC. We have Genpact, which is a company. There's Tata Consultancy Services, which is an IT-based company. There's Axis Bank. There is Deloitte, who's also a competitor of PricewaterhouseCoopers. There's Macquarie Global Services. There is Federal Bank Limited, Barclays, which is a global institution by itself. There's Accenture. There's BSR. There's DXC. So these are huge names when it comes to in the CA fraternity, and when you look at it, they are really big names in the financial institutions, in the banking and sector, in the companies sector. So these are the companies that come to the campus. They have you have 3 rounds of interactions. One being the personal interview, one being the group discussion, and then you're finally selected. And the average salary, as per the statistics for September to October 2019, was around 9.12 lakhs. Okay, and the domestic salary was around 24 lakhs per annum. So that's how highly paid the chartered accountants are. Okay, and this is done 2 times every year. Once the attempts are done May or November. Okay, suppose that once the results are out, we have this thing, and the average salary offered for September to October 2019 with the recruitment of was around 9.12 lakhs, is a very big thing. Now, when I had mentioned that, I was telling you 50-60,000, and that's the bare minimum today. When you look at this average kind of a salary, I mean, if you divide it by 12, it's not less than 75 to 78,000 per month. That's how highly paid the chartered accountants are. Okay, so the USP, again, quickly running through this, it's an act. It's established by an act of the Parliament. It is open for all streams: commerce, arts, and science. It offers opportunities for distance learning. It's a completely merit-based course. Okay, you can't go there and just pass the exam. It's a standardized course with regular updates. Today, you have the institute who regularly updates the course material, so that when you pass your exam or when you've given your exam, you are also up to date with the recent changes in the society. Okay, this is a campus placement as I covered in the last slide. It gives you an ability to multitask, not only to kind of do a job. You can also have a practice as a parallel. You can also start a business. It acts as a catalyst in economic policies. It acts as a regulator of audit and insurance functions. Okay, so the preliminary role that a CA plays is in the taxation and the audit front. There is also, in terms of when you do a 3-year articleship, okay, one is reading the book and understanding the knowledge, and one is implementing it. So the 3-year articleship that you do in the entire course, you end up getting a lot of benefits in terms of that. Okay, age is no bar. It's an equal opportunity course. It's a cloud campus for students. It's employment opportunities even after you have passed some years after. Also, there are various opportunities for chartered accountants, and it's a great learning at minimal cost. Okay, so I think everyone knows that in terms of the CA's power, today a CA is known by his sign. Okay, and wherever a CA puts or appends a signature, that document becomes more valuable. So today, when you look at a tax audit, a company audit, a forensic audit, or a foreign currency remittance, all this requires a CA certification, and that's how the chartered accountant course has become a huge thing. So that's where Sri Narendra Modi ji has said your signature is more powerful than PMs and government, and also believes that accounts signed by you. Okay, as I mentioned before, we have a wonderful tie-up with the civil services. We also have a good tie-up with the Indian Institute of Management, which is one of the big names in the MBAs. so which helps you. So I have a lot of friends who have done CA and also gone on to do an MBA after that. Okay, you can also do a PhD for some of these courses. There's a certificate course which you can also do post your qualification. Okay, so these were some of the prominent chartered accountants: Piyush Goyal, Suresh Prabhu, who's the Union Cabinet Minister; Kumar Mangalam Birla, who's the chairman of the Aditya Birla Group; CA Harish Salve, who's a very well-known auditor who had fought the Vodafone case; Sudha Balakrishnan, who was the chief financial officer chosen by the RBI and the executive director; Naina Lal Kidwai, who was basically the country head of HSBC; Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who's a big name in the stock market; and Rameshwar Thakur, who was the union minister and the governor of Madhya Pradesh. So these are also some of the very distinguished people, leaders who have made several comments on the CA course. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, who was the president of India. Then the Lal Bahadur Shastri. Because of shortage of time, I'm just kind of quickly running through this. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who was also the president, he had very clearly mentioned that I suggest that all the CAs should take the following oath. I will not only bring out the problems of financial management for protecting the interests of the stakeholders of the enterprises, but also suggest possible solutions with ethics as a way of life. Shri Narendra Modi ji, as I mentioned before, yours is a profession in the society that has the capacity to save this entire economy and keep it growing. A chartered accountant's role should be such that he knows that he's not working just to add and subtract these numbers between 0 to 9, but should also feel that he's playing an important role in building the economic infrastructure of this nation. Okay. Then Ratan Tata had lately had mentioned a wonderful statement saying that I need MBAs to run my business, but I need CAs to teach MBAs how to run my business. Okay, and that's a very noteworthy statement when it comes to a chartered accountant. Okay, so there are also very good motivational stories. Recently, we had in 2012 an auto rickshaw driver's daughter had become a CA. We had a first blind lady who had become a CA in the year 2002. So these are some stories that tell you that a CA course is not only for a person with ability, but if you put your hard work and your dedication, as I mentioned before, the mantras to CA, you would definitely be able to do this. Okay, so with this, I think I would complete my presentation. Of course, if anybody has any questions, we can take them on the chat, or if any of them want to actually ask any questions, you can reach out to your school or your principal, and I would definitely be happy to address them. So I think we'll wait for a minute or two to just understand if there are any questions or any queries. So if anybody has any questions, you can type it in the chat box.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
They're not able to this type it in the chat box. Hello.
क्वेश्चन बच्चे लोग ने दिया नहीं सर अभी तक.
Acha, okay. ठीक है. So I think with this then we can end the session. Of course, if you guys still have any queries, let me tell you the CA course is a phenomenal course. It has changed the life of many people, and if you want to build that reputation in society, I think the CA course is an apt course for everyone. So if you have any queries, please reach out to your teacher, Vilas. Please reach out to your to your principal. Blessila, I would be happy to entertain any of the queries. And if you wish, that we do another session in your institute, you can please write a request, and we shall be happy to do that as well. So I think with this, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think so. With this, we can kind of very clearly end the story, and end this entire wonderful session that we've had today. I hope you all enjoyed it, and you found it informative and beneficial for your career ahead. So thank you, and all the best to everyone. I think you can stop the webcast, right?
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Guru, sir.